What's happening, everyone? It's your man Flash Prime here, and it's prime time. Today I'm going to be trying something new by delving into the cringe that is r/RPG horror stories. Thanks to all our authors, Danger Noodle, Ducky_Dimension, and Ryoji Kanji 79. So, sit back, get comfy, and let's get this party started. The unluckiest player. For once, there is no problem player, only cruel chance. I have one regular player in my games who is so unlucky, I've had to make new rules to try and counteract his bad luck. If the dice gods exist, he must have pissed in their cereal or something. We had a long weekend of gaming in person. Our weekly game sessions are online, and he did not roll above a 7 the whole 3 days. As a laugh, one of the characters calculated his average roll over 5 sessions, and it was 6 point something. Mathematically, that's lower than the average of constantly rolling with disadvantage. I've seen him crit less than 10 times over 2 years. It doesn't matter which dice he uses either. We've shared dice, used digital dice, bought him new dice, and he's still unlucky. It's not just D20s. He frequently rolls 1s or 2s on D6s and D8s. He once managed to roll a 1 on a D100 3 times in a row. That's a 1 in 1 million chance. I now have a rule that if someone rolls a nat 1, 2 attacks in a row, they get advantage next turn, just so he has a chance to hit something. None of the party members minded when I gave his magic items an extra +1 to hit, and I allow him to have a mega advantage. If he has 2 modifiers that give advantage, it only helps a little. He's going to switch to a caster soon, but we've bought him a wooden spoon to congratulate him for being the world's unluckiest player. Yeah, we've all been there, where our rolls are dog shit and our luck is terrible. Sometimes, no matter how much you pray to Iron Jesus, his light just doesn't shine on you. If you move as a unit, you can have each other's backs and minimize these bad luck rolls and just hope the campaign works out. Being unlucky in these sort of games isn't the end of the world. Sometimes a bad luck roll can lead to some great story, and if you have a good DM, he can swing that into some great future events. DM lit his campaign with their own previous PCs and doesn't even read my backstory. So, this story is from a group that I used to play D&D and Pathfinder with all the time. I only really started playing these games maybe 5 years ago, and since I live in the middle of nowhere, I went online to play. A friend of mine had their own friend group that would essentially play a game every day of the week for a while, and since I had no life, I joined. I had fun with this group for a while, but problems were quick to arise over the time I was with them. There are many stories and experiences that have tainted my overall experience of the games, stemming from this group, but I'm going to focus on the one that I remember the most. We'll call the DM Todd. Todd was still new to DMing. He often stumbled over his own descriptions of scenes, character dialogue, and had to retcon what he wanted to happen with some NPCs because he had trouble planning things around the group. We were all supportive, however, so this didn't bother us. This particular campaign, he was attempting a bit of a homebrew, but kept it with the 5e rules to make it easier. He encouraged all of us to make backstories and send them to him so he could come up with hooks for us alongside the main plot. I got enthused and decided to make a changeling bard for the campaign who had 4 unique personas that they would use for performance and such. I was really happy with my backstory and excited for what the DM would throw my way when it came time for backstories to be explored. Campaign begins and everyone meets and starts questing together. And that's when we start meeting some old friends. Most of these PCs were characters I didn't know because they were all from campaigns that I either wasn't a part of or had happened before I joined. At first it was fine. I'll never be upset with someone who makes cameos of their previous characters in their games. It's oftentimes a fun little Easter egg and even a way to make the plot more meaningful. But that was not these PCs. Todd had the tendency to make his PCs very one-note. There was a parody of Randy Savage, the guy that would randomly pop up wherever we went. There was a very annoying kobold that would pop up wherever we went and eventually started traveling with the party. There was a guy that was actually in one campaign I played in that showed up once or twice, and there are 2 women PCs that showed up. I mean, every other town or stop we made, another DM PC was showing up to be kooky or give us side quests. What really started to grind my gears was how they all seemed to make fun of my character somehow. I was trying my best to make my bard comical, but also suave and charismatic. He would make jokes sometimes and was very open with his opinions. Nearly every DMPC, even the kobold, would make offhanded jabs about my character's remarks or make fun of in-game choices they made. I was essentially being made into the butt of the brunt of the jokes in the party, which honestly made me a little sad and questioned if I should have chosen a different character concept. What ultimately broke the camel's back, however, was when it came time for the backstory exploration. Every one of the party members had a hook. There are only 5 players in the game, and we had found hooks for everyone. It was my turn, only my hook was just wrong. In my backstory, my character had a dear friend and a mentor that had taught him the ropes and convinced him to be a bard. He was out looking for his mentor because he hadn't seen him in years. Todd threw him in, as a drunk bard who made fun of my character. No mention of their past, no attempt at using the 2 traits I had hinted at in the backstory itself. No, nothing. I confronted the DM out of character, asking how he got his interpretation of the mentor from what I wrote. His response was, well, I kinda just skimmed your backstory. I kinda forgot about it. So you didn't read my backstory? I skimmed it. Did you skim everyone else's? No. I was pissed. I actually loved the character I made and work I'd put into his story. But Todd never took the time to read any of it beyond a passing glance. Everyone else was having story hooks that they were perfectly happy with, and Todd had clearly thought out and planned for. But when it came to me, absolutely little to no effort. I felt utterly disrespected. It wasn't long after that the campaign was officially cancelled. The other players weren't very happy with Todd either. He tried running other games, but I didn't play in any of his games after that experience. TLDR, DM spends more time burying the party in DMPC cameos that happen way too much and making my character the comic relief than actually reading the backstory I'd sent in, and ruined the game for me. Damn, brother, that sucks. You put all this effort into a backstory, hoping the DM uses it for a plot hook or a story element or some sort of tie-in to the overarching plot, but he doesn't. It makes all that effort and love you put into your character null and void. Hopefully he hasn't ruined D&D for you or tabletop games in general, because sometimes a good DM can basically bring anything to life, and a good backstory can really help a DM's overarching plot. That being said, I don't find a problem with putting previous player characters into a storyline, but where it does become a problem is when they use those characters as the main spotlight, and the player characters of the party get pushed to the sidelines. That's not okay, and that's not on. Sometimes DMs burn out, sometimes they get lazy, sometimes the game just goes on for too long, and they're just looking for an easy out, and it looks like you drew the short end of the stick on this one. Don't take it to heart, get back out there, try and play another game somewhere, and continue putting all that effort into your character, because the more effort you put into a character, the more fun and engaging the game can be. Never made it past session 0. Hello all, this is my first post ever on Reddit, but I've been a long time reader of this subreddit, and I thought I would give it a try. I apologize for the length. This happened about 18 years ago. I had just graduated from college and moved to a new city and state for a job. I was jonesing for some sweet 3.5 edition. As luck would have it, my local game shop was advertising a new game. I applied and I got in. We were asked to make characters from the player's handbook and come to session 0 that weekend. Here is the setup. A mage, female. A bard, male. A rogue, a female, and I think was a friend of the mage. And myself, a druid, a male. We were going around and stating what we were playing. It got to me and I stated I was playing a half-elf female druid. This is where the ride went off the rails. The DM looked pale when I said I was playing a female. He immediately vetoed the idea. Okay, I was thinking to myself, that maybe he didn't allow gender bending, or had some weird hatred towards half-elves or druids. Well, I didn't even get the chance to ask, because the mouth breather of a DM decided to announce why he had an issue. He had stated that no man could play a female, and no female could play a male, because he wants to be able to picture the actual female noob. But wait, there's more. He then went into more excitement about how he not only pictured them nude, but he would write fan fiction about how he had his way with not only the character, but the actual female too. He then looked at the 2 guys and said, I mean, you get it right, you can't play a girl because we men can't have fantasies about a dude being naked. And we were done. I started to nope the hell out of there. The ladies looked absolutely disgusted, and the bard couldn't do anything but laugh at the DM. This infuriated and upset the DM to no end. I am guessing as he turned about 11 shades of purple and red, and he threw a temper tantrum and threw the books he had across the local game shop's floor. Never went back to that store again. I have another session 0 that makes this look tame, but this is my first post, and I wanted to see if this was the right place to put this horror story. Oh my god, what the fuck did I just read? Some people out there really should just think about things before they say stuff. And even before they act, honestly. Because this is just weird. Not only are you saying that in public in front of people, guys and girls, and making everyone uncomfortable. You're just plain being a creep, okay? And no one really wants to play with a creep. No, let alone have the creep run the campaign. Because you know that shit's going to get weird and get weird quickly. So, it's a good thing you guys managed to stop it before it started and got it out of the way before anything really bad happened, because I can just see just a lot of problems arising from this. It's been said before on other threads, it's been said elsewhere, but no D&D is better than bad D&D. And sometimes it's just better to walk away. Hopefully you found a DM with a less sexualized focus on the game, and more about the fun and interactive parts that tabletop games can offer. Thanks for listening, everyone. My name's FlashPrime309, and you can follow me on Twitch, and on Instagram, and on Twitter, under FlashPrime309. I stream on Twitch on Fridays, so come down and check me out, and that's Friday, 8 p.m. West Australian time. Thanks for listening, and peace out, homies. Until next time.